Alright, BobalosRex here. We're gonna have ourselves a little lore read. Because I want to talk about this. This dagger. Alright. This very specific dagger that has become a big part of the story. And a lot of people don't actually know what's up with her. Alright? So, I'm gonna go over what we know. And then I'm gonna go over some speculation. Alright? Here. You can't even see the dang book. There you go. Alright? So, if you're a priest and you've done Legion, you should already know. If you have never done Legion on a priest, I'd actually recommend go doing it. Running through the order halls on a class, doing the story and all that stuff is actually something really good to do, in my opinion, if you've never done it. So give that a shot. If you're bored, you want something to do, be like, I've never done Legion on a warlock. You're in for a good time. You're in for some story. That's for sure. So, Xal'atath, Blade of the Black Empire. What do we know? So, first off, this dagger was a Legion artifact. Priests interacted with this dagger, then got rid of the dagger. Then it was reintroduced in BFA. And it's funny, I was reading through a lot of Xal'atath whispers, and it blatantly sets up BFA. Like, priests were hearing, like, BFA told to them through the dagger. It's funny. Then the dagger is used... Okay, so if you didn't do the extra side quests during Crucible Storms, you would have missed this. But we find the dagger, we bring the dagger to N'Zoth, doing a bunch of stuff, getting a bunch of artifacts. N'Zoth frees her from the dagger to be in that elf body that we helped her get, and she possessed it. And that's the body we see her in. You know, if you want a summary of her, there's better videos out here. I'm just abridged version right here. So then she's in an elf body, she goes off, then the dagger itself ends up stabbing N'Zoth. We don't know where it went after that moment. The last person who had it was Rathian. He stuck it in N'Zoth, and then we did the raid, and then who knows? Alright. As far as her, so what do we know? She's the Harbinger. She was imprisoned in a dagger for something. Betrayal. Okay. At some point, she got a staff. Okay, now if you're like, wait, she got a staff? What are you talking about? So there is a staff that we got. Yeah, there we go. This staff, a gift of Dementius, bestowed at the height of the Black Empire. Those touched by the shadow are drawn to its haunting whispers. So, Dementius gave this to their Harbinger at the height of the Black Empire, according to this. Alright? Which we think is Xal'atath. We think this staff is Xal'atath's staff, according to the Twilight Hermit. Yeah, see, Voidstone, Staff of the Harbinger. It's her staff. That's the way I read that. Powerful. Xal'atath is a powerful void something related to the void. We're gonna go over that, but she's clearly linked to the void. Something's going on with her. Locust Walker, Illyria's buddy. knows Xal'atath. That we know as well. She knows him, he knows her. She was either present or... Well, she was present in ancient Azeroth. We know that. And she knows or was around before the Draenei. One of her quotes talks about what came before the Draenei. It's like, interesting. And yeah, and she was betrayed. So that's what we know for sure, in my opinion. Again, I definitely think this means the staff was her, and that's going to play into my theory over here. So, now let's talk about what kind of creature Xal'atath could be. Alright? If you don't all remember, we saw Dimensius in Burning Crusade. You know, this isn't him, but I'm going to bring it up. So we got big void creature. She could be some kind of void entity that's just been around a long time. Alright, now I'm going to go over some quotes. But yeah, so it's void creature is an option. Another option of something I think she could be is a dark Naru. Alright. That's one theory. Like, that, you're gonna see, I'm gonna go over what I actually, like, my big theory right now. You know, the book I was just looking into mentioned she could have been an old god betrayed by the others, and they stuffed her into a dagger. So that's part of a theory. Some say she's a piece of Yasharaj. Taliesin really thinks she is Yasharaj. You know, he has a big whole theory about that, so I'm going to discuss that. I don't think that. She could also be just another old god anyways. Like, people think she could be just a fifth old god, and honestly, that's possible. You know? But recently I've been thinking, she has ties to Koresh. How long ago was the Ethereal's home destroyed? Do we know how long ago that was? I don't know if I want to drop my whole theory yet. Hold on. So let's go over a couple of quotes here before I drop my theory. So, Ethereal. She references the Ethereals. That kind of makes it seem like she may not be the Ethereal. She calls someone her brothers, referencing corrupting a Constellar. When she talks about the boss in Mauve Souls, if we all don't know, in Mauve Souls, Harberon is a Constellar. And they seem to have been turned by death. And we see death having swayed a Constellar even later as well. Not well, he got mind controlled, but now that makes me think that has happened later as well. We all know the boss, Rhaegal. So I looked. There is a, like I said, I was looking through all the Xal'atath codes. She references her brothers, which people want to think maybe the old gods, but she kind of just says brothers and corrupting force. She could just be, if it's in the Ethereal's case, referencing other void Ethereals, her brothers in arms, being harbingers of the Void Lords. And I'll talk more about that in a bit. Okay, but let's talk about this quote here. She says, "It's ironic that the weakest of us may be the ultimate victor." Now, this is some reason to think that she may be another old god. Then she goes, Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, Y'Shaarj, and well, only one would remain to consume the world that was always meant to be. So, that can kind of put her to be a fifth old god, right? That is completely fitting with that speculation. She refers to Y'Shaarj as its own thing, so that means she may not be Y'Shaarj, so that's counter to that theory, but it does support her possibly being an old god. But she could also be referring to us as entities trying to bring the void to the universe. Alright. But yeah, that does support the fifth old god theory, which is kind of at this point to me is kind of the most obvious choice, is for her just to be a fifth old god that was betrayed and all this stuff. But we're gonna get into my theory that plays on the betrayal in another way. Because we are seeing what could possibly be an old god void lord divide. If we really think about it, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then here's something to support the void Naru theory. So she talks about when you enter Nether. Here, I can bring up the quote here if you look in the 5. When you bring her into Netherlight Temple, the dagger, I know the Naru consider us horrors to be resisted. We do not share this view. They are merely beloved brethren that lost the true path. They will return to their masters in time. So, this goes against the old god thing. Do the old gods see the Naru as brethren? I haven't really seen old gods and Narus interact. So I don't really think that, or how does N'Zoth talk about Naru? So to me, this pulls away from the old god thing and just like, okay, she's of the void. She's kind of talking about for the void. You know, especially when she's in dagger form, she's just like, I'm a void entity. And to her, the Naru lost. And we do have to take her quotes with a grain of salt. Now, let's get into my theory. So, some people think she's a fifth old god. Some people think she's Y'Shaarj. I think there's a possibility of her being a void Naru. Now, what is the big theory that made me make this video? I think Xal'atath was an ethereal who was a harbinger who helped bring Dimensius to the ethereal homeworld. If the ethereals existed before the Draenei, okay, then you can have their civ building up. We're a great civ. Maybe they were even fully into the light. Or just mages. Xal'atath looking like whatever ethereals looked like before they got exploded and became bandage people. Was like, I'm gonna bring in these void gods. Maybe there were no old gods on Koresh. And she just wanted to bring in a whole Void Lord, and it destroyed Koresh, but gave her and all the other Void people new forms. So they may even be happy, because we see a lot of people survived, but they've been changed. So I think her and Locust Walker go way back. She brought in Dimensius, blew up Koresh, to consume the world, which may have had a Titan in it. Okay? So Dementius just consumed the whole world like, tasty. Then Xal'atath, almost working like a Silver Surfer to Dementius Galactus, starts bringing Dementius to other worlds to try to eat. Okay? Cut to her coming to Azeroth, like, alright, I'm gonna get Dementius here. The Black Empire, you're doing great. I'm gonna get Dementius to come here and eat the world. And it's gonna be a void paradise. The old gods hear this. Yasharaj, Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, N'Zoth. They hear this and they're like, oh yeah. He's gonna do what? Eat the whole world? I mean, we're kind of in the world, so how about we corrupt the Titan and you don't eat the Titan? And they betrayed her, stuffed her into a dagger because they don't want the... Think about this. The old gods want to corrupt the Titan and then go with the Titan, I'd imagine. Dementius, from what we've seen, just eats the world, wants to eat everything. Maybe there's a divide between the Void Lords about how to go about things. Should be interesting. But I do think we're seeing, because why else would she get betrayed? Why else would Xal'atath be betrayed by the old gods if she's supposed to be the one bringing in Dementius? You know, why would N'Zoth and them betray her if she has the ability to bring in Dementius? I don't see how to square that deal. And that's why I think we may be seeing the old gods and the Void Lords kind of butting heads here. Now that the old gods are here and created, they have their own thoughts and feelings. Like, hey, I'd rather control the world and be on the Titan than have Dementius eat the whole world. Okay? So that's my current theory. I think she may be an ethereal, and they are much older race than we thought. We may see Koresh, and then that would be a whole Xal'atath talking about her homeworlds. We see Locust Walker talking about his, because I do see them butting heads. And I'm kind of getting a vibe of Illyria's Locust Walker's student, but now that Xal'atath sees that, she's like, oh, I actually want to bring Illyria to my side, and me and her can go being the harbinger of the void together. Alright? But there's a few more things I want to talk about. Alright? She also talks about when you bring her to the seat of the Pantheon, thanking the player for getting them a foothold in that realm. And that is like, just being there, the void sneaks in. And then she also talks about an eternal conflict, which makes me think of Diablo right away. And then true masters of the Naru. So it's like the Light Lords, but why are you saying that they're true master of the Void Lords? And then that made me think, right? This could be lies, and I am gonna do a series where I reread Chronicles and almost play devil's advocate through the whole thing, trying to be like, did they really do this? Are we sure about that? Something like that. That will be next week at this point, maybe the week after, because there's a lot of stuff coming out right now. But this really makes me wonder, did the Chronicles lie about which came first? Did the light come first, or did the void? Because Chronicles makes it clear that the light came first and then the void. You know, and like I said, this could be all void whispers, but if we are going to question the Chronicles, do the Titans you know, the someone stewarding through the Titans, would they say light came first to give the Titans justification and be like, life is good, light is good, order is good? Because that's what we kind of see the Titans be for. We see life team up with order, team up with light, you know, a lot. You know, Xal'atath is given props to death. We see, if you look through a lot of her quotes, she's talking about people that were on Team Death in a pretty good way. You know, she hates on the demons, mostly because of the fallen Titan, but she talks about the eyeball demons. Like, hey, they could have been on our team, and it's really interesting, right? It's like the Void is fine with the Fel disorder, but it looks at it like as a stupid child. Whereas Death, it's like that does some good, does some stuff, and then it's like Light, you should just be on our side, just give up, and then they hate the Titans. They think the Titans are fools. And then we don't really see, how does Void talk about life? It doesn't talk about life as a bad thing. It talks about life almost like all life should be thanking them. Like, you see Void, like, when they talks about humans and dwarves and the Titanborn that it gave flesh to, it's like, you're welcome for flesh. So it's almost like you're welcome for mortality. You know? But it is against life, since I was talking about it being, you know, somewhat looking at death and like, you're doing good work there. But I'm working on something that talks about kind of like the hierarchy of the cosmos, because you do seem to see void and light above. Then you see like order, disorder, and then life and death. Or honestly, I think it would be light and void, life and death, and then order and disorder. But it's very interesting. So yeah, what is Xal'atath? We don't know, but you've heard my theories. You know, she could be another old god. Some people think Yasharaj. I brought up Void Naru. But my current theory is maybe she was an ethereal and is some sort of Silver Surfer to Dementius's Galactus. Dementius wants to devour worlds. Xal'atath is the harbinger. She ushers him in. She's like, hey, he's coming. Eat this world. You know, it just kind of fits, you know? Is that good, bad for the story? It depends on how it all goes down. I'm actually excited if she ends up being some kind of entity like that. We could have a good story going into Midnight depending on what Illyria and them do. You know? But we'll have to see. But yeah, those are my thoughts. That was my lore rant. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.